Welcome to the Prime Minister Reports, brought to you by BTB and Belize Natural Energy. This evening, the Prime Minister answers questions posted on his Facebook page. Stay tuned for his answers on BTL, preventative detention, and job creation.
To lose yourself to romance, you must first create the right conditions, and Belize is the perfect setting. See for yourself why Brides Magazine has named Belize the #1 up-and-coming honeymoon destination in the world. Go to Belize in Love at travelbelize.org and plan a truly special amorous getaway. Get recommendations for accommodations and promotions. Be one with one another. Be one with Belize.
At BNE, we work hard to make our country a success. As the single largest taxpayer, the success of BNE will make Belize's economy stronger and more resilient. Our hard work directly contributes to our country's development.
Hi, and welcome once again. What I thought I'd do this time is to use the opportunity provided by these little chats to answer some direct questions that I've received. Actually, I've started a Facebook page, and I asked people to post questions on that page so that in talking to you, I could know that in fact I am addressing particular concerns that people might have. So I did ask for people to submit questions, and in fact I got perhaps more than I bargained for. There are too many questions that have been sent and not enough time to answer all of them. But I thought I would begin with BTL because more than one person on the Facebook page asked about BTL. One questioner wanted to know why it was that instead of reacquiring BTL, government didn't simply give a license to a brand new company. Well, the answer is fairly straightforward. All the expressions of interest we've had from other companies are confined to doing mobile. BTL, as you know, does both mobile service, cell service, as well as a fixed line operation. Of course, by far the more profitable segment is the cell phone segment. If we allowed a brand new company to come in and do only mobile without the overheads that BTL has, because BTL has to do fixed line, that company, or more than one company if we allowed, would then eat into BTL's profits on the cell phone side, which profits are necessary to assist with the operations on the fixed line side. So the pressures this would have exerted would have meant that inevitably BTL would have had to downsize. Disruption, the workforce being cut down, people losing jobs. No government that wants to be worthy of its mandate to look after the welfare of its citizens could have allowed that. And that is the simple reason, or perhaps the most straightforward reason for taking the route that we did. And somebody else asking about BTL said, well, we hear you say that you now want to enshrine government ownership of essential utilities in the Constitution. How do you square that with your commitment still to foreign direct investment? Again, remember that we're only talking about public ownership of those essential services. We're limiting this, confining this to the utilities sector. So then, once that is made clear, we also point to the fact that we're talking about 51% ownership. We're talking about majority ownership and control on the part of government. We're not excluding the private sector, either the local or the foreign private sector, completely at all. And remember that this is exactly how we handled it when we first, under the UDP administration that was headed by Prime Minister Esquivel, when we first took BTA, when we first transformed BTA, the Belize Telephone Authority, into BTL, we passed or in fact enshrined articles of association that made clear that government would own 51%, but that the private sector would be able to own up to 49%. And we were able to attract, in fact, investment on the part first of British Telecoms and afterwards on the part of MCI, one British company, one American company, each of which took in succession a 25% shareholding. So there you had it, right there, public and private sector partnership, but with government, in the case of public utilities, having to be the dominant partner so it could look after the interests of the people of this country. Now, we feel so strongly about government control of the utility companies that we've indicated we want to put this in the Constitution. And that allows me, in talking about the Constitution, to answer a question from Jackie Willoughby, who asked about the consultations, the public consultations that must precede the passage of the constitutional amendment that would provide for preventive detention. Let me say what I said at the start. There is no way we are going to hold the public consultations on the proposed constitutional change without first circulating widely, giving to all interested bodies a draft of the bill that would implement the preventive detention regime if we ever got to the stage of passing the constitutional amendment. That bill would show how preventive detention would work. It would show in particular what the safeguards would be to prevent abuse in terms of the implementation of the regime. We know that a lot of people have jumped off half-cocked and are saying, oh, preventive detention must be protested. No, man, please, hold on until you can see how government plans for that regime to work. Let there be a full-scale debate on that aspect of things first, and if government cannot persuade the public that the way this thing would work would be in the best interests of society, then government will have to take a second look at it. You have my assurance where that is concerned.
At BNE, we work hard to make our country a success. As the single largest taxpayer, the success of BNE will make Belize's economy stronger and more resilient. Our hard work directly contributes to our country's development.
Be one with adventure. Be one with the magnificent Barrier Reef. Be one with the mysteries of the Maya. Rediscover the wonderful world that is your own backyard. Plan the perfect weekend or getaway at travelbelize.org with recommendations for dining and accommodations, packages and promotions. Be one with the extraordinary. Be one with Belize.
Another topic that came up in terms of the posts on the Facebook page had to do with job creation and investment. And I see that Don Hector, in particular, wanted to know why, for example, in terms of small and medium enterprises, there could not be a canning factory to add value to the farmers that produce fruits and vegetables. Well, there's good news. An entity called Sol Farms is going to be building a packing plant, $1 million packing plant, just outside of the village of Roaring Creek. Initially, 50 independent farmers will be asked to provide vegetables for packaging for export. And so that, I'm sure, will be seen as good news by everyone, including, of course, Don Hector. Remember that as well, Banco Atlantida is talking about starting up a brand new African palm industry in this country. Job creation generally, well, the government has made these equity investments in the DFC, initially to the tune of $5 million, and we will be contributing more on lending to small businessmen or businesswomen. So that's one way of trying to drive the economy at that level. The Belize Tourism Board announced at its annual industry presentation that their marketing budget has now gone up to something like $12 million. So we can expect a kind of lift in the tourism industry that will also create more jobs. Just yesterday, we signed the contract for the road now between San Esteban and Progreso in the north to be upgraded, to be taken to paving standards. These are all things that will help to deal with the problem of unemployment that my friends on the Facebook page are so concerned about. Let me end this time by answering a couple of particular questions. Somebody wanted to know about township status for Ladyville. That's fine after consultation if that's what the residents want. But do understand that if that happens, there will be additional taxes that the township will have to charge. You'll have to pay property tax fees. You'll have to pay other fees in terms of the services provided. So, but it's a matter for discussion and consultation. Somebody asked me about a police station in Crooked Tree. Well, there is money in the current budget for that, so work should start on the construction of the new station very shortly. In the meantime, the person said there is no police presence in Crooked Tree at all. I've spoken to the commissioner and the CEO, and that will be handled. Next time, I expect to be answering some more of your questions, and I hope you will find the new format useful. Thank you.